Now it's AM or they take.
Distinguished delegates, welcome again. We now have the facilitator to take the session from here. Over to you, Chris.
Right, good morning. I hope you're still awake. Right, I will not try and match the previous speakers for eloquence or content. My job is to help this meeting go forward. My name is Chris Trelawney. I used to work for the International Maritime Organization. I still work for the International Maritime Organization, but as a consultant today, and I'm here to help. Thank you very much. What we're going to do for the next 20 minutes or so is set the scene. Now, this is about your decisions. This is about the decisions of the signatory states to the Djibouti Code of Conduct. And it's very, very important that if we're going to communicate well, we all know each other. So I'm going to invite you to the delegations, first of all, to stand up or to sit down and just very briefly introduce yourself and your team so that we all know who is here. And I'll start with the signatory states, please.
Bonjour, c'est Monsieur Amfifdine Ali Touir, point focal national du Code de conduite de Djibouti pour l'Union des Comores. Merci.
Merci beaucoup.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Lieutenant Said Lavani. I come from Comoros. I'm working at the Regional Maritime Information Fusion Center. At the same time, I'm assisting the DCoC NFP for Comoros. Thank you.
Good morning. I would like to thank our host, South Africa, for such reception, exceptional hospitality. My name is Captain Getinet Abay. I'm from Ethiopia, the national focal point and the current chair of working group 2. Thank you.
Good morning, all. My name is Abdel Maiz. I am acting director of International Relations Directorate in Jordan Maritime Commission and national focal point of Jordan. Thank you.
Good morning, Excellencies, distinguished delegates. My name is Bruno Shoso, the Director General of the Kenya Coast Guard Service, also the national focal point for Kenya, and currently heading the Kenyan delegation. I have a delegation with me here, starting with Ambassador Lena Nyambu, who is the Director of Peace and Security in our Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Yes, we have Julius Segera, the Director of Shipping and Maritime, State Department of Shipping and Maritime. We have Colonel Evans Oguga from our Kenya Navy. Joyce Marangu Awino, well known to all of you, our Frontier Control. We have Bilal Zulfikra from the Kenya Ministry of Interior. We have Acheng Oko from the Kenya Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And finally, we have Lawrence Mwenda, the head of our Kenya National Maritime Information Sharing Center. Thank you. Happy to be here.
Thank you very much.
Good morning, distinguished delegates. This is Captain Rendian Antenain from Madagascar. I'm the national focal point for the Djibouti Code of Conduct. Once again, thank you for the Republic of South Africa of welcoming us here in Cape Town.
Good morning everybody. I am Danita Ramdari from Mauritius, Deputy Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Blue Economy, Marine Resources, Fisheries and Shipping. And I have Mrs. Kiran Shamlal, the Secretary Shipping Development, representing the national focal point for the Djibouti Code of Conduct. Thank you.
Good morning everybody. My name is Armand Luarvar. I'm national focal point of Mozambique. I'm head of Maritime Safety and Environment Protection Division. I'm with my colleague. She will present himself.
Good morning, dear colleagues. I'm Ruth Reich. I represent Institute of Maritime Transport of Mozambique.
Good morning, delegates. This is Admiral Nigel Johani. I am the Director of the Jeddah Academy for Maritime Science and Security Studies. I am representative of the Chairing Committee of Saudi Arabia, Steering Committee, Admiral Mohammed al-Shahri. With us here, my colleague Commodore Yahya from the Saudi Real Force, and my colleagues there from the Saudi Embassy, Mutairi, and my colleague Abdul Majid also from Border Guard, and Chief Officer Bandar also from Border Guard, and Rada Sobhi from the TGA, Saudi TGA. Thank you.
Good morning, delegates. My name is Captain Daniel Adam. I am the NFP for the Seychelles. I am also the CEO of the Seychelles Maritime Safety Authority. With us today is PS Alain Renault from the Ministry of Transport and Ms. Emmanuelle Warreau, who is my head of legal at SMSA. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Yunus Adam. I'm the representative of Somalia, the federal government of Somalia, and I'm accompanied by the Ms. Katra. Katra is the Deputy Director of Somali Maritime Administration, and I'm also accompanied with the EU CAB Head of Operations, Ms. Dania, who is with us to support in this activity, and I'm the leading focal point in this meeting. Thank you, and I'm very happy to be part of this meeting.
Good morning. My name is Mchunzi Madia, the head of delegation of the Republic of South Africa. I'm also the head of maritime in the National Department of Transport, and you are all welcome to the Republic. Thank you very much.
Good morning, all of you. My name is Stella Joshua Katondo. I'm the Director for Transport, Safety, Security, and the Environment, the Ministry of Transport in Tanzania. My appreciation to the Republic of South Africa for hosting us. I'll be joined later by the Director of Maritime Administration, Kaimu Mkeyenge, the Deputy Permanent Secretary, Dr. Ali Posi of the Ministry of Transport, with his PA, Hassan Saleh Ali, and the Minister for Transport, Professor Makame Mnyambarawa. Thank you.
We thank the Republic of South Africa for hosting this high-level meeting, and thanks for excellent hospitality. My name is Captain Ali Subhi, Deputy Minister of Transport, Republic of Yemen, for Maritime Affairs and Port Sector. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning. I'm Captain Islam Mubarak, Vice Executive Chairman of Maritime Affairs Authority of Yemen. I'm also the national focal point for DCoC. As well, I am in charge of Regional Maritime Information Sharing Center. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'd now like to invite the heads of delegations, supporting delegations, to introduce themselves. So we'll start at your end, sir. Move around.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First, thank you to the Republic of South Africa for hosting this great event. Thank you very much for being a gracious host. My name is Delvin Willis-Jones. I'm the head of delegation for the United States, and I also represent international narcotics and law enforcement. Joining me today is our esteemed colleague from the United States Coast Guard, Lieutenant Commander Derek Wallen. Thank you very much.
Good morning, South Africa, fellow delegates. My name is Richard Morris, head of the UK Friends DCoC delegation today. I'm representing two hats today, the Royal Navy's MDA programme and also the UK Government Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office. And also accompanying me here in Cape Town is Lieutenant Commander Dougie Bell, who is the OIC of our forward deployed reporting centre, UK MTO Dubai, and two representatives from the Joint Maritime Security Centre, Malcolm Brown and Tom Freer. Good morning.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Toril Vadgama, the Deputy Head of the Global Maritime Crime Programme of UNODC. Sadly, it's just me as part of the delegation today.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. فواز عيل مهندي مدير إدارة تراخيص النقل البحري ممثل وزارة المواصلات دولة قطر.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, South Africa, for being such gracious hosts. I am Commodore Nitin, Director of Military Affairs in the Indian Ministry of External Affairs. I am joined by Commodore Balaji from the Ministry of Defense, and right behind me are Commander Kundan from the Directorate of Foreign Cooperation, Indian Navy, and Commander Arun from the Directorate of Network-Centric Operations. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having us over.
Good morning all, and thanks to South Africa for hosting this event. It's a pleasure to be here in Cape Town. My name is Philip Halkvist. I'm from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Denmark, and with us today we have Mr. Lindby and Mr. Frederiksen of the Danish Defense. Thank you.
Sorry, Elizabeth Dahlberg-Frisk from the EU delegation to South Africa.
Good morning, South Africa, distinguished guests. My name is Martin Kauki Inglot, and I'm the project director of Crimario. With me today is Dave Natras, sitting behind me. He's the deputy director. Thank you.
Good morning all, and thanks to South Africa for this warm welcome. My name is Dalia Costa, and I'm the head of operations of UCAP Somalia, the Civilian Crisis Management Mission in Somalia.
Good morning, and thank you very much for hosting this event in this great place of Cape Town. I'm Captain Roland Le Goff from the French Navy, and I'm here to represent UNAFOR Atalanta. I'm alone. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for the invitation and involvement in the DCoC. My name is Raj Moabia. I work at the General Secretariat of the Indian Ocean Commission. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Captain Sam Gontier. I am the director of the Regional Coordination Operations Center, the RCOC, based in Seychelles. It is a pleasure to be here, and I look forward to meeting all of those of you that I have not met already. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Captain Alex, the Director of Regional Maritime Information Fusion Center. Thank you for the Republic of South Africa for hosting this event. Thank you.
Ted Schmidt, the Senior Director for Skylight at the Allen Institute for Artificial Intelligence. Thanks to our host, South Africa. Yep.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we've proved a few things. One is that you can all talk, so please continue to do so. Please take every opportunity during the coffee breaks, the lunch breaks, to work with each other, talk with each other, get some collective motion going. I'm not going to call any of you drips, but we have an ocean of talent in this room. Let's use it. Okay, moving forward. I believe we have some ministerial statements. No? No. Change that. Okay, the next formality is the election of the chair and co-chair, and I would invite the signatory states to nominate. I see Kenya leaping to the floor.
Excellencies, distinguished delegates, with the chair's indulgence and on behalf of the Kenyan delegation, I wish to make a brief statement that Kenya takes this opportunity to appreciate the Republic of South Africa for the warm welcome to delegates in their arrival in Cape Town. The agenda before us is the need to make a decision on the chair of this 6th high-level DCoC meeting, in line with the DCoC practice and international practice, where the chair of an international meeting is the host country. Kenya proposes the nomination of the Republic of South Africa as the chair of this high-level meeting. I propose and yield.
Thank you very much. Is there any Ethiopia, please?
Ethiopia seconds Kenyan's nomination. Thank you.
Okay. Any other support? Commerce, please.
L'Union des Comores soutient la présidence sud-africaine.
Merci beaucoup. Do we have any other proposals? Agreement? Yemen, please.
We support the nomination of the South Africa.
I'm getting strong feeling of support and nodding.
Eva Mozambique supports.
Please.
Thanks.
Okay, I think, unless there are any contrary opinions, Madagascar, please tell me you're agreeing.
Yes, the delegation of Madagascar support the presidency and chairmanship of the Republic of South Africa. Thank you.
Okay. South Africa, do you accept the challenge? You appear to have been elected.
Thank you, facilitator. I do support and I'm honored. Thank you.
Okay. I'd now like to invite nominations for co-chair. Any nominations for? Ethiopia, please.
Yeah, Chris.
Thank you, Chair. Ethiopia would like to propose the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to co-chair this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have a proposal. Somalia, please.
Agree also.
Supporting?
Somalia proposes Saudi Arabia to be the co-chair. Thank you.
Do I have any other? Please.
Jordan supports Saudi Arabia to be co-chair. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Everybody happy? The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to be the co-chair of this meeting? I'm seeing nodding. Happy days. Comores?
L'Union des Comores soutient l'Arabie Saoudite. Pour la vice-présidence, bien sûr. Si
Merci.
elle est prête à l'assumer.
Merci beaucoup. Okay, then I think without prolonging the agony, we can invite Saudi Arabia to co-chair this meeting. Thank you very much. With your permission, Chair, I'll carry on the briefing. Okay, as you heard before from the Director of the Maritime Safety Division, The objectives of this meeting are operationalisation, interesting word, of the regional information sharing network, the adoption of the regional standard operating procedures and further deliberation on cooperation on the conduct of operations at sea against illicit activities, building on the experience of the Marseille project, so we'll be hearing on that. Approval to expand the Working Group 2 structure to incorporate additional thematic areas covered by the Jeddah Amendment, so we'll be discussing that. Effective utilisation of a regional capacity building coordination matrix, we'll certainly be discussing that, and approval for the development of a common regional maritime security strategy. And we'll be looking at those. So those are the overall objectives, and if we can achieve those, then we really are moving forward. The agenda, you've already had a read-ahead paper. Please read it, because it'll save a lot of talking if you read it. And a non-paper proposing the thematic working group. The latest agenda was circulated last night, and it is available online, as are presentations and lots of supporting documents at the events transport website, that website address. If anybody needs it, we can send it out again. Today, we've had the opening ceremony, you'll have a number of briefings on particular subjects. We have 2 panel discussions today, the first one being on synergies with regional programs, and the second being on the information sharing network. There will be some formal presentations and a gala dinner tonight. Marvelous. Tomorrow, Wednesday, we'll have 2 more panel discussions, one on utilising the information sharing network, and the second on aligning international efforts to support the Jeddah Amendment. There will be some more interactive presentations on the maritime security strategy and the thematic areas discussions. There will be 2 parallel meetings, one for the signatory states to the Djibouti Code of Conduct, and at the same time, one for the supporting organisations. And then we'll be looking at the end of the day on ways forward. We'll put together those recommendations. Thursday, we will be summing it all up, proposing some resolutions which we'll be working on during today and tomorrow, a summary of outcomes, an official communique, and the closing ceremony. So that's really what we're aiming to do. Any questions on any of that? Please say no. Marvelous. Okay, there are some rules of engagement. I'm not here to be nice to people. I'm here to make sure that we get effective results. So if I'm rude, I do apologise. You've had the speakers who are going to take part in the panel discussions. There has been a briefing note gone out. What we are looking for here, we have a lot of speakers and a little time. What we're looking for is concrete proposals on how we improve implementation of the DCoC. So please get straight to the point. The history of your program is fascinating, but we really don't have time for it. What we need is, what do you propose? How do we make things work? So please, no grandstanding, no detailed explanations on how well your program's running, and stick to your times. Because if you're talking more than your allotted time, you're stealing someone else's time. This meeting is being streamed, so please, no swearing. And when I say swearing, I mean using words like Springboks and rugby, because that is mortally offensive to some of us. I think I need to say no more. If you've got any problems, if it's about the content of the meeting, the DCoC, please talk to Mitch, or more likely, if you want a result, Winnie and Esther, who are at the back. And if it's about organisation, talk to Mashudu, because she's brilliant, and it's going to work. Happy? Sir, with your permission, I'll shut up now.
Thank you, facilitator. Once more, distinguished delegates, welcome to this meeting. We shall now get going. And at this point, may I call Mr. Kiruja Icheni of International Maritime Organization to give us the updates and the recap on the Dubai and Jeddah meetings.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chair. I'm required to give an update on the implementation of the Jeddah Amendment and set the scene for this meeting. But after the wonderful speech of the Minister, Honorable Minister, she captured it all, and I'll say very little. Let me start by congratulating the signatory states to the Jeddah Amendment for the remarkable progress you have achieved in shaping the most dynamic maritime security coordination mechanism for the Western Indian Ocean and the Gulf of Aden. Your commitment and dedication have truly set us on the path to enhance maritime security and regional stability. At this point, let me provide a short overview of the outcomes of the last two high-level meetings, which was the one held in Dubai from the 28th to the 30th of June, and the one held in Jeddah in November last year. Now, we had a very successful high-level meeting in Dubai, and you will recall that the meeting agreed on 4 resolutions. The first resolution 1 was on the implementation of the strategy and roadmap for the enhancement of the DCoC information sharing network. The meeting laid the groundwork for an improved information sharing network, and also as outlined so that you have the proper coordination and for it to reach operational capability by 31st of March next year. So we really don't have much time for that, to achieve that. The second resolution was a presentation of and approval of the capacity building coordination matrix. This is a vital tool for capacity building coordination. As you know, this has been the biggest challenge for the region, where there's a lot of duplication of effort, and sometimes the effort provided not aligned with national and regional priorities. And I believe a lot has been achieved. For those of you that have interacted with the matrix, the regional states have done their bit. They've populated the matrix and identified their needs and priorities. We've given access to the friends of the DCoC. But please, I request you, this was not intended as a data mining tool. The expectation is that when you got the access, you look at what the countries have requested for. We know that you will have your priorities, and so does the region. The expectation is that you try and bridge the gap so that you align your interventions with the requirements, the priorities of the region. We will be doing more work to enhance that matrix, to make it more user-friendly, and we've already reached out to many of the friends of the DCoC to give us feedback on areas that can be enhanced. Now, the third resolution was what was really talked about by Heike very well on the DCoC Trust Fund, because the multi-agency trust fund provides a very good opportunity for resources mobilization and to support the coordinated work that is being spearheaded by the two working groups. And then we had the fourth resolution, which was recognizing the evolving maritime security challenges and security priorities, and therefore trying to look at re-engaging ourselves so that we are able to deal with those emerging new threats. Now, a few months later, we then had the Jeddah high-level meeting, which was in November, 22nd to 24th of November last year. And this meeting really built on what had been agreed upon in Dubai. And this came up with two resolutions. Resolution 1 was also, again, was on enhancement of the DCoC information sharing network. This resolution defined the mission and vision of the Information Sharing Center and provided clear direction on the development of the Regional Maritime Information Sharing Center, the data to be shared, and how, and the broader goals. Following this, it was also agreed to develop SOPs for the Regional Information Sharing Network. And I'm very pleased to note, and you'll be hearing from the chair of Working Group 1, the great work that has been done in actually coming up with a really good document, which I think will really enhance information sharing. The second resolution was on responding to evolving maritime challenges, whereby the Jeddah meeting reaffirmed the resolutions adopted in Dubai. That was both Resolution 1 and 2, and expanded upon them. It emphasized the significance of addressing evolving maritime security challenges and security priorities, thereby supporting the maritime development and sustainable goals of our states. We've maintained great momentum since then, with several meetings of Working Group 1, Working Group 2, and the Steering Committee. I must say that the collective commitment demonstrated by the signatory states and some of our partners is truly bringing about transformational change in dealing with maritime security challenges in the region. As we gather for the 6th high-level meeting, let us remember that our progress is not confined to meeting rooms and resolutions. Concrete action is the key. We must now take these agreements and translate them into tangible results. Our commitment, hard work, and unity will determine our success in achieving a safer and more prosperous maritime environment. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I now call upon the delegation to deal with the regional threat updates from the Western Indian Ocean and the Gulf of Aden. And I believe that this is Roland Tehraf, Commander Kundan Singh of India. Over to you, sir.
So please, can you display the slides I gave you this morning, please? Thank you so much. Okay, great. These are the slides. So good morning again. As you know, I'm Captain Roland Le Goff from Atalanta. We were supposed to deliver that speech with the CMF, but it looks like my colleague from CMF is not there. So I will try to do my best to cover his part too, because we had two parts in the meeting. First part was prepared by my J2, I'm a J3, and the last part was prepared by CMF. It covers the drug smuggling and weapon smuggling. So the approach we have here in this threat assessment is very much linked with the definition of maritime security, which has not to be confused with maritime safety, of course. We address the 7 threats which have been defined by Mr. Ban Ki-moon: piracy, terrorism, drug smuggling, human smuggling, weapon smuggling, environment destabilization. And we can also add conflict-related activities. And one that we don't cover, which is a kind of blank spot for us, is all what is related to cyber. And cyber is also a major threat that needs to be addressed, but here it's not covered. So the next slide. Okay, it all started with piracy, and today, in 2003, you see that there is nothing happening anymore. For us, the piracy threat assessment is low. There hasn't been any evidence of attacks since 2019, and the last capture was in 2017. So it's already 6 years. However, what we can see is that this situation ashore would maybe allow resurgence of piracy. And I will show you just after how we assess with our criteria the risk and the threat of piracy. In the past 12 months, what we had is a lot of suspicious approach. The merchant navy captain were reporting some suspicious approach. And it was most of the time in this area where you see the green spots here. It's 200 nautical miles from the Socotra Island. And so we sent a ship and a drone there to investigate, and we found nothing. We found nothing. It was just fishermen who were in that area. And our assessment is that the merchant navy captain was so surprised to see fishermen in that area that they thought it was suspicious approach, and it was not the case. Which shows also that if piracy has been eradicated, it's not the case in the mind of the captain of the ship who are there. The psychological trauma of piracy is still there, and we have a lot of false alarm. So this is how we assess the piracy risk. I don't know if you are familiar with this approach, but we use a strategic, operational, and tactical approach. The tactical being what happened on the ground, and the strategic being basically the root cause of piracy. And so you can see that on the tactical ground, everything is almost green, except that there are still some suspicious approaches. From an operational point of view, we see that the weapon smuggling is still ongoing into Somalia. We see that there is a lack of legitimate income sources. We have still a lack of Coast Guard activity, and we are working on it. And we also see a lot of illegal, unregulated, undeclared fishing by foreign vessels. And as you remember, this was one of the causes of the piracy when it popped up. The Somalians were complaining because they saw a lot of foreign ships fishing in the area, and they wanted to do something, and so they went at sea and captured some of these fishermen. And so, but this today is not exactly what we see, and so, but there are still some foreign vessel fishing in the EEZ, especially. And now, from a strategic point of view, this is where we are more concerned with this piracy, possibility of resurgency. You are still a conflict ongoing. We don't have a full government over the coastal region. Somalia is still, unfortunately, a failed state so far. It doesn't have a control on all its territory. And we still have a famine and drought ongoing. We can see that.
Dear Chair, if you allow me. Somalia rejects the word that comes from our presenter. Somalia is not a failure state. Please, continue. Thank you.
Thank you. I take this for next time. What I mean is not fully, it means that you don't have a control on all the part of the territory, and this is the only indicator which is red in that domain.
But you cannot call that word. That's
Okay.
what I'm preferring. Thank
I
you.
agree.
Merci.
Thank you so much. And so these figures are not from us. It's open source information that we captured from the internet, from the IPC Info website, which is providing some prospection on the future of food insecurity first and malnutrition. And so this is feeding our indicator and the latest one which I talk about. I will not elaborate more on that. So that was for the piracy threat. As a wrap-up, the risk is low, but in the mind of the captain of a merchant navy ship is still there. So there is a trauma. And the root cause of piracy, even if it looks like eradicated, there may still be somehow there too. We are in an uncertain situation. So the second maritime security threat that I'd like to address is conflict-related. One of them is the link to the internal conflict in Somalia. But so far, we haven't recorded any action from the Al-Shabaab organization at sea. So our assessment is that the risk is low too in that domain. In the Gulf of Aden, the situation is somehow different. We have this conflict in Yemen. We have a separate assessment for shipping, one for general shipping and another one for ships which are heading toward the Yemen oil terminal. For general shipping, the threat level is low. And for those who are heading toward the Yemen oil terminal, it's moderate because we still recall this Al-Daba attacks that's been conducted in November 2022. So just to remember what it was, there was a ship mooring close to Yemen coast, and there's been an advance warning sent out by the Houthis that they would target the ship, and they launched a drone, what we thought was a drone at that time. The drone hit a buoy, and there was not much thing happening, and the Houthis claimed the responsibility for that attack. After further investigation, it appeared that the drone was probably more a cruise missile, but it doesn't make much difference for us so far. So, as I said, the risk is low for normal navigation and moderate for ships heading toward Yemen. So I don't think it's of interest. Back to several talks that we had in the past months. We heard a lot about drones. You know, drones are very convenient. They're on ship. They're easy to use. And so, of course, when there is a conflict anywhere, there is still this drone threat. And in Yemen, we have spotted several of them, but always on the ground until last week when we had these drones destroyed by a US destroyer. But I don't have any information about it, so I will not talk about it. But our assessment before that was that there is not real drone threat for maritime activity off the coast of Yemen. So the intent is assessed as low. One of our main focus now is EU fishing, illegal, unregulated, undeclared fishing. We are allocating a significant part of time to try to understand what's going on. And when it comes to the fishing off the coast of Somalia, we see a huge amount of ships there in the economic exclusive zone, of the economic exclusive zone. But we don't know if it's legal fishing or not because we don't know if they've got a license or not. So what we do at Atalanta, we report this position to the Interpol Bureau in Mogadishu, and we let them discuss with the Somalian authority to see if there is something that needs to be done in order to tackle that issue more. I hope this mechanism is working well. But I can tell you that we have seen a huge difference, and everybody can see it because you can have access to the IIS by satellite. It's mostly open source. You can buy also it. And we have seen this dramatic increase of fishermen in the area close to the coast of Somalia since the end of the monsoon. It's incredible. It's hundreds of ships. And only talking about those who are shining. And we send aircraft and drones to collect the information there, and we can see that several of them are not shining at all, shining IIS. So EU fishing is a real concern. So now I'm entering into the part that was supposed to be covered by my CMF friends, so I'm not very comfortable with it, but it's okay. So you're very familiar with the map that we've got on the right, because this map has been elaborated by the capture which have been made in the Indian Ocean. You see the level of capture. In itself, it doesn't say much, because this level of capture depends on the volume of exchange, but also on the number of ships which are deployed in the area. And it's a multidimensional problem. And so if you don't know how many ships were deployed, you cannot assess anything from that. But if we assess that the number of ships is almost the same, we see that there is a decrease of narcotic seizure when it comes to synthetic. On the lower graph, you see the evolution in 1 year of the hashish, heroin, and meth seizure. And there are some months where you see more seizure than others, probably because you have also to harvest the primary product in order to elaborate. So the question is here where the drug is going. And there are two options, three I would say. You know, the drug is coming from the coast, the northern coast. It goes to Eastern Africa. And then it has to be shipped in the main consumption places. So some people think that it's done by truck crossing all Africa. Some of us think that it can be done by plane. And me, personally, I think it's done by ship, container ship. I think they are shipping the drug to international harbor, and then it's transferred on container and shipping. But that's my own assessment. I wanted to provide my 2 cents on that. So it's more elaboration on the narcotic smuggling. We have seen a ban on poppy cultivation in Afghanistan since the Taliban took over the power. And so what we anticipate is that there will be a decrease in the smuggling of heroin, opium. But at the same time, we see an increase in the smuggling of methamphetamine. So not much to say about it. Weapon smuggling for Atalanta is a black space. We don't have any activated mandate to fight against that. We see that there are some seizures in the area. We can imagine that if there is a conflict, you need to fuel that conflict. So fueling is ammunition and weapons. So there is smuggling of weapon and ammunition in this area. We can see some of them. What else to say about it is that if there is a kind of peace agreement in Yemen, we will see a decrease in the smuggling, and this is what my colleague from CMF is reflecting here. If there is no peace agreement, it will keep on, and same for Somalia, of course, because weapon is all about war. Okay, I think I've covered everything. I don't want to take much of your time because I know we are running after time. So if you have any question now or during the coffee break, don't hesitate, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you. I think we proceed to request another update by IFC, IOR, and that's Commander Kundan Singh from the delegation of India. The floor is yours, sir.
A very good morning, everyone. I believe Murphy has stuck as we are running out of time. Still, we find that there was slight delay, I believe some technical issues. So I'm Commander Kundan Singh from Directorate of Foreign Cooperation of Indian Navy. I'll try to stick to the timing of 15 minutes as directed by our facilitator. So before we start with the maritime security update, I would like to inform that as we are looking forward for having the information sharing centers, it is essential that we look forward how we, India, a partner country of the DCoC member states, have been able to collate, have been able to achieve that information sharing part. So I'll give a short brief about the IFCIR, how the information is getting collated, how we are collaborating with our partner states, how we have international liaison officers who are helping us out in this job. We'll start with, first, the inauguration of the IFC-IOR. IFC-IOR, for those who, I'm sure that everybody must be aware of this IFC-IOR, one of the major information sharing centers in the Indian Ocean region. It stands for the Information Fusion Center of Indian Ocean region, in short, the IFC-IOR. It was inaugurated on 22nd December 2018 with a vision of promoting collaborative maritime safety and security. Accordingly, the center was formally notified by the IMO in April 2019. India is conscious of the fact that it is impossible for a single center or agency to achieve complete maritime domain. Accordingly, it is the reason that IFC-IOR works to enhance the MDA of the region by collaborating and cooperating with various partner states. The fundamental goal is to have safe and secure seas, which can be achieved through seamless information sharing. As a regional maritime information hub, IFC-IOR is a single point repository of maritime incidents in the entire Indian Ocean region. It collates information from an array of national and international sources, validates them with the available databases and linkages, and then compile a comprehensive library. This information is then analyzed for identifying trends, and the analysis is shared not only with our partners but with the larger global community. Towards preventing these maritime crimes, it requires collaborative efforts of multiple nations. We share operational information with partner nations and agencies and enable timely operational responses. Apart from the operational charter, having established itself as a prominent information fusion center in the wider Indian Ocean region, we frequently share our expertise and experience to train the operational staff of our partner nations as well as provide assistance towards setting up of their information sharing networks. As our first effort of collaboration, we have international liaison officers presently from 12 countries. We are going to expand very much in the near coming future. Indeed, these international liaison officers are one of our biggest assets, and each ILO brings with him unique capabilities and domain knowledge which helps us to improve our understanding of pattern of life in the region. While we interface systems for data fusion, we also fuse regional expertise and experience through this approach. To accomplish the mission, the center functions by collaborating with various national and international partners. Presently, the center has linkages with more than 68 international agencies around the world. These agencies are a fair mix of military organizations, other fusion centers, maritime security centers, shipping community, and even some NGOs as well, which are working in the maritime domain. The center hosts a number of delegations from partner nations for enhancing the shared understanding of contemporary maritime challenges and role of fusion centers in improving shared awareness of the maritime security situation. These delegations visits are often the springboard for greater collaboration. Based on the information sourced from all our linkages and partners, the center compiles and updates the validated data of maritime incidents, which is analyzed by a combined team of Indian Navy and the international liaison officers, along with a team of civilian analysts to identify trends and anomalies. The analyzed information with factual databases is published by the center as periodic maritime security updates. In addition, incidents related to maritime security which are of immediate interest are broadcasted on our website and Twitter handle. Being an information fusion center, we also at times relevant intelligence on maritime incidents and crimes through our ILOs and international linkages. The subtle difference between information and intelligence is the aspect of actionability and criminal severity. We ensure that the intelligence inputs are promptly routed to concerned maritime agencies for timely actions. There have been instances where the center has played a key role in saving human lives and preventing environmental catastrophes. As brought out earlier, in addition to our operational charter, our center also undertakes the tasks related to capacity building and sharing of expertise on request from partner nations and agencies through the participation and conduct of various workshops, conferences, seminars, etc. As part of this endeavor, earlier this year, we conducted a data management course for the East African Standby Forces at Nairobi, Kenya. The center flagship event, the Maritime Information Sharing Workshop or MISW, was conducted last month, which saw participation by various countries, including from IORA as well as Djibouti Code of Conduct, which included a dedicated workshop from the participants of Djibouti Code of Conduct JA countries. These efforts of our center are guided by the Government of India's vision of Sagar, which stands for security and growth for all in the region. This point was already brought out during the IMO speech when he clearly mentioned about the Sagar vision of India. Accordingly, IFC-IOR remains fully committed towards promoting collaborative maritime safety and security for a peaceful, stable, and prosperous Indian Ocean region. With that brief introduction of IFC-IOR, I would now shift to the main topic, which was with regard to the maritime security updates. While my previous speaker from EU NAVFOR Atlanta has excellently provided a security update of the Western Indian Ocean region and the Gulf of Aden, in the next few minutes, it would be my endeavor to provide a glimpse into the maritime security situation in the wider Indian Ocean region as recorded by IFC-IOR in 2023 till 30th September 2023. It needs no elaboration that this learned audience that our region holds immense strategic, economic, and cultural significance on the global stage. Consequently, the Indian Ocean witnesses heavy maritime traffic. We monitor close to 15 to 17,000 ships transiting these waters at any point in time. The center has monitored, recorded, and analyzed a total of 3,813 incidents in the wider Indian Ocean region and adjoining seas. For reference, the colored dots on the map and colored bars in the graph indicate the incidents recorded under 5 major categories of particular concern. Of these, the most prevalent are the irregular human migration and maritime incidents as observed from a duration of Jan to September 2023. In addition to these 5 major categories, the center also analyzes incidents related to hybrid threats, cyber threats, environment pollution, and climate change. Moving to the piracy and armed robbery part, 148 piracy and armed robbery incidents were recorded by the center from January to September 2023. Sea thefts, suspicious approach, and attempted sea thefts were the most frequently reported types of incidents. tankers and bulk carriers were the most targeted vessels. Few incidents of kidnapping of crew were recorded in the Gulf of Guinea region. The region continues to witness high level of violence, dexterity of pirate action groups to target ships at extended ranges, and modus operandi of kidnap for ransom. In contrast, Southeast Asia continues to account for the highest number of incidents recorded. This was predominantly driven by an increase in the incidents recorded in the Straits of Malacca and Singapore. Majority of these incidents occurred in the eastbound lane of the traffic separation scheme in the Singapore Strait. Of all these incidents recorded in the West Asia, 4 incidents are of suspicious approach. The prevailing situation in the region, including the pattern of life, presence of irregular militia, and elevated levels of security measures by transiting merchant shipping are likely to be the contributing factors to this trend. Although we are aware that the sea piracy has receded in the Gulf of Aden area, but this has predominantly because of the all-out collaborative efforts by the naval forces and other security mechanisms which has been placed in this region. However, we would like to reiterate again that this needs to continue. So the security efforts need to continue to make sure that our seas are safe and secure against maritime piracy. While sea routes always have been used for contraband smuggling, in recent times, with known hubs in the so-called Golden Crescent and Golden Triangle, significant rise in movement of narcotics has been monitored, especially flowing down from the Makran coast. Seizures of ATS, also called as amphetamine type substances, continue to be the highest contributor towards the number of drug smuggling incidents recorded, both in Western and Eastern Indian Ocean. The majority of the drug seizures were made from small vessels. Transshipment of drugs using small, medium seagoing vessels and concealment in canisterized cargo were observed to be the main modus operandi for drug smugglers. The smuggling of fuel and domestic products has generally been observed from places of low cost / subsidies to other locations. Let us now look at one of the most prevalent threat of IUU fishing. IUU fishing, also called as the illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing, not only threatens the maritime security, but has a huge impact on economy and food security globally. The very fact that the value of IUU fishing is estimated to be $23 billion is sufficient to drive home the impact on economy. If this impact is not sufficient, an added complication with IUU fishing in that it is often linked with other maritime crimes. It needs no special mention that overfishing and illegal fishing has led to depletion of fish stocks, and food security is forcing many extra-regional fishing fleets to explore and exploit the rich marine resources in the waters of Indian Ocean. This threatens the blue economy of the littoral states of the Indian Ocean region. There is an urgent need for all of us to collaborate and slowly work to overcome this predominant threat in our region. A total of 373 incidents of local IUU fishing and 173 incidents involving the arrest of foreign fishermen undertaking poaching in water of another country were recorded by the center from the period January to September 2023. Southeast Asia accounted for the majority of incidents of local IUU fishing and poaching in January to September 23. As I mentioned earlier, the high seas are beyond national jurisdiction. This has the biggest impact on regulating fishing. While regional fisheries management organizations have been stepped up under the aegis of UNFAO, the record of successful interdictions indicates hardly any information activities in the high seas. In addition, there are legal gaps as observed in the Northern Arabian Sea, where fishing is not regulated by the RFMO. Moving now to the irregular human migration. Humans, like other species, have migrated since time immemorial. However, with the forming up of borders and enactment of legislations, human migration has brought under control by states. The underlying factors driving migration has, however, remained social, economical, or political. The center has recorded the largest concentration of such migration using sea routes in the Mediterranean. What is disconcerting is to note that the fact that desperation to reach favorable destination is pushing people to undertake long journeys at sea in small, overcrowded boats, which often than not lack life-saving gears. Southeast Asia has continued to see the irregular migration of workers across countries via sea routes. A large number of apprehensions were recorded in the Malacca Strait. About 84% of the incidents recorded by the center occurred in the Mediterranean region, as brought out earlier. It has been observed that the inflatable boats have been extensively used as a means of transport by the migrants. Moving to the maritime incidents, the center has recorded a large number of incidents like mechanical failure, capsizing, sinking, medevac, aground, fire, flooding, search and rescue, etc., which have been clubbed under this overall head of maritime incidents. A total of 1,341 maritime incidents were recorded by this center from January to September 2023. While most of the incidents occurred on small vessels close to the coast, some failures on big merchant vessels may be attributed to the fatigue due to delayed crew changes and lack of maintenance. While classical piracy incidents have suppressed to a greater extent in recent times, we have monitored some new techniques and the emergence of hybrid threats, including unmanned, remotely controlled boats, use of waterborne IEDs against ships at sea and in harbor. Similarly, a recent attack on a merchant ship using drones led to death of seafarers. Presently, the use of these hybrid threats is limited to some specific areas. However, it is important for all of us to remember that subversive elements tend to be creative, and we need to be watchful for the employment of such techniques in our neighborhood. While IMO resolution on cybersecurity has been issued in 2017 and has come into force with effect from 1st January this year, the maritime domain is witnessing exponential threat from the cyber attacks, most of which are ransomware attacks. However, many incidents are not reported, and this is a field which requires serious attention as more and more maritime systems are interconnected. At this juncture, I would also like to mention that physical damage or cyber attacks on submarine cables could cripple transnational communication, including commercial operation transacted over internet, and we would need to collectively guard against any such eventuality. We monitored the marine environment pollution incident of Philippines earlier this year in February 23. The Philippines flagged vessel Princess Empress sank in rough seas of the coast of Nauyan, Oriental Mindoro in Philippines, carrying 900,000 liters of fuel oil as cargo. Subsequently, an oil spill was detected around the location of the ship, which extended to other areas, causing pollution damage. In the end, let me be honest in saying that alone we can do so little, and together we can do so much. We are cognizant of the maritime security challenges in the region, and it would be our constant endeavor to find collaborative solutions so as to enhance maritime safety and security. Towards this, we look forward to increased participation and engagement with all our partners. To sum it up, I would like to highlight that the center is guided by India's vision of Sagar, again reiterating the security and growth for all in the region. It is very important to note the wordings of this Sagar, which is very critical in making sure that we collaborate and we make sure that all our seas whether it is in Indian Ocean region, whether it is in West Africa, and safe and secure for our seafarers, for our commerce, for our food security. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Distinguished delegates, may I please implore you to please help me to help you to look at the time. We had allocated 15 minutes for each presentation at the most. We now move from updates from the previous sessions and look at the developments since the 2022 meeting. In that regard, I call upon Rear Admiral Noji Al-Juhani, my deputy chair here. He is going to give his comments from where he is seated on the report of the outcomes of recommendations of the meetings of the steering committee. You have the floor, sir.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, distinguished and delegates. First, I would like to thank the Minister of the Transportation of the South Africa for this warm hospitality and extend sincere of this a unique and beautiful town, Cape Town here. And I would like to be enjoying this meeting regarding these 3 days. I apologize to be stand in front of the podium to speak my report, but I have a request from the co-chair because I am the, from the chair, sorry, because I am as a co-chair and this is a benefit for me, I think. Yeah, let us to highlight for the DCoC Steering Committee reports. On behalf of the chairman of the DCoC Steering Committee, I would like to report the progresses of our work driving forwarded the implementation of the Code of Conduct and the shed light on our key properties and the progress we have made in advancing the objective of the Jeddah Amendment. It's briefing to address this established gathering to discuss the significant efforts undertaken by our committee, as well as the certificate role played by our working groups. The certain role played in our working groups, the success in the work of the DCoC Jeddah Amendment is a reflection of our shared responsibility by protect the virtual maritime trade routes. There are be lifeline of our responsibility to protect it. One of our priorities of the steering committee has been to support the work separated by our two working groups on information sharing and capacity building coordination. These working groups are at the heart of our collective efforts, and their work is instruments and achieving the objectives of the Jeddah Amendment. The last steering committee meeting took place on the 1st March 2023. The meeting deliberated of the following up actions from the high-level meeting held in June and November 2022 and agreed on the followings. 1, noting the most signatory states have already defined their training needs from the DCoC capacity building, coordinations, matrix, and the steering committee agreed to develop the regional training program and requested IMO to condense the support needs with willing international partners to support the various trainings activities. Unfortunately, IMO has been unable to develop the program owing to back the funding. We therefore request our donor partners to support this endeavors by countering the DCoC Trust Fund. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia agreed to host Super 1 workshop and development of the SOPs of the DCoC information sharing network. It took place from July 30 to August 10, 2023. I would like to thank the following friends of the DCoC for contributing of the delivery of the workshop by providing subject matters expert. India, MIWA and Navy, United Kingdom, GMSC, RMIFC, Madagascar IMO, United Nations of DC, Maritime Crime Program, Europe Union, Crimario, 2, Interpol Police, and the Alien Institute of the Africa Intelligence, the United States Coast Guard, IFC, IOR, and Interpol Maritime Security Unit. 3, in coordinate with the roadmap for the operations of the regional on the improved regional information sharing network, all participant states are required to have established multi-agency national maritime inform. The 4 items considered and agreed the need of streamline collaboration on the information sharing with MAS through the MOU following deliberations and cooperation of the compound Working Group 1 and Working Group 2. The establish strong partnerships with the RCOC Seychelles, whose main mandate is coordination of actions at sea, given the Jeddah Amendment previous for joint efforts in dealing with illicit maritime activities. The DCoC signatory countries can be explore cooperations for the collaborative efforts in coordinating actions at sea, particularly in addressing illicit activities at sea. Following has been made one of the recommendations to invite Bahrain and Qatar to sign with the DCoC Jeddah Amendment with progressing outcomes. This will be fast-tracked as soon as formal communication is received from the 2 countries requesting the same. Steering Committee Chair has coordinated and contacted and discussed with the TGA Transport General Authority in Kingdom of Saudi Arabia concerning supporting the DCoC Trust Fund, we advise the Secretary of the DCoC Jeddah Amendment to confirm contacting the Friends of the DCoC international bodies and donors for contributing to supporting DCoC Trust Fund. In conclusion, I want to stress the importance of our collective effort with the DCoC framework. Our maritime security is not a task for one nation, but shared responsibility that transit borders. We must continue to support the virtual work of our two working groups, foster collaboration among member states, and uphold the communications made during the Dubai and Jeddah high-level meetings. Together, we can ensure that safety and security of our maritime trade routes and protect the prosperity of our nations. Let us remain resolved in our missions for the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Deputy Chair. We now move on to the reports by the working group, and in that regard, may I please ask the report from the working group 1 on information sharing, and that would be Mr. Bruno Shihoso of the Kenya delegation. You've got the floor, sir.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'll share the report of outcomes and recommendations of meeting of Working Group 1 on information sharing. I'll start with the information sharing roadmap. It's a good morning to all of you. On behalf of the DCoC Working Group 1, I will make a presentation of the activities and progress that has been made since the Jeddah high-level meeting in November 2022. Recalling the strategy and roadmap for the regional information sharing network, the intention is to develop a robust information sharing network to enhance maritime domain awareness, build on a solid foundation at national level, with each participating state establishing its own multi-agency national maritime information sharing center under the oversight of a national maritime security committee structures. The purpose is to have this implemented through a whole-of-government approach and in line with the national maritime security strategy. We therefore thank the IMO for its endeavor to support regional states to achieve this through implementing the IMO model on the whole-of-government approach to maritime security. As Kenya, we appreciate the assistance received from the IMO in operationalizing this committee, as well as initiating the drafting process for the National Maritime Security Strategy. At this juncture, I wish to remind all the DCoC member states that in accordance with this information sharing network roadmap, we have only a few months for the National Maritime Information Security Centers to be up and running, i.e. by March 2024, and I call upon member states to take advantage of their technical assistance from the IMO to ensure that no state is left behind from being part of the information sharing network, hence compliant to Article 3 of the Gender Amendments. Slide 2 is on strengthening measures at national level. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, one of the key lessons learned from the implementation of the DCoC is that it is not possible to achieve effective regional cooperation on diverse fields without effective coordination and building capabilities at a national level. That is the reason why the DCoC requires that each participating state establishes a national maritime security centers, and that the NFP's national focal points represent and report to their respective National Maritime Security Committee, supporting the whole of government approach in maritime security. Noting that national centers that are multi-agency in nature are at the core of this, to jumpstart this process, I'm pleased to report progress in on four fronts. The first one being SOPs for the DCoC information sharing network have been drafted in the month of August 2023, and I take this opportunity to appreciate the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for hosting the drafting workshop. Number 2, India further hosted an additional workshops to test and to refine this draft DCoC SOPs. The Maritime Information Sharing Workshop was held in India from the 14th to 16th September 2023. On behalf of the DCoC, I would also like to thank the government of India for sponsoring that workshop. 3, to expand the scope of the MDA and information sharing, the DCoC information sharing network is now poised through the MOU to collaborate with regional centers established under the Master Framework. The DCoC already agreed to incorporate the 2 centers, i.e., the Regional Maritime Information Fusion Center in Madagascar and the Regional Coordination of Operations Center in Seychelles, to avoid duplicating the effort. You will agree with me that this will provide a wider scope of collaboration within the Western Indian Ocean. Number 4, national centers have now platforms for information exchange, such as C-Vision, Mercury, Iris, and Skylight. Slide 3, please. I move on to the key decisions so far. The first one being key decisions that will be made in this high-level meeting will be on the adoption of the DCoC SOPs, which will go a long way to strengthen measures at national level by defining the protocols that will be followed in information sharing that will also enable the achievement of regional maritime security. It is my hope, on behalf of the DCoC fraternity, that no DCoC member state will be left behind. 2, I therefore call upon the national focal points to examine where they are in the establishment of their national centers in order to have the IMO share with partners so that they may obtain technical assistance for their establishment. This way, we can have an active and vibrant information sharing network within the region. 3, having agreed to incorporate the Regional Maritime Information Fusion Center and the RCOC as part of the DCoC information sharing network, we have worked together with the 2 centers and the Indian Ocean Commission in drafting a Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, to facilitate this. We request national focal points to review the draft during the National Focal Point meeting tomorrow and authorize the chair, myself, of Working Group 1 to sign on behalf of the DCoC. Slide 4. Next steps. 1 is first establishment of National Maritime Information Sharing Centers. We are aware that there is an ongoing program of assistance by some friends of DCoC, but we are concerned that this is not well coordinated. It is crucial that this work is coordinated to benchmark progress and ensure that these centers are established in alignment with the DCoC information sharing net strategy. Furthermore, we need to track progress so that the Secretariat can monitor and seek further assistance in case of any gaps that may arise. 2, we believe that sharing data on vessels of interest across the region will promote maritime threat awareness. I therefore propose we make considerations for the establishment of a regional database of vessels of interest. Considerations will also need to be made on how the national centers will access this database. 3, this matter was discussed at the information sharing workshop hosted by the Information Fusion Center, Indian Ocean Region, and India offered some insights, which we are very keen to see if it can work. India also proposed for the establishment of a DCoC, International Liaison Officers, at the IFC IOR, as well as establishment of some National Maritime Information Security Centers. I call upon the DCoC Secretariat to liaise with the IFC IOR and explore these possibilities. As I conclude, much has been highlighted, and it is my hope that we shall give positive considerations to the proposals. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you. We now move on to the report of the outcomes and recommendation from meetings of Working Group number 2 on the capacity building coordination. And in that regard, I will ask Captain Abe from the delegation of Ethiopia. You've got the floor, sir.
Thank you, Chair. I wish you don't make me on this lunchtime. Everybody's not giving me attention, but I try to grab yours. I make sure that you'll not get my paper unless you listen. Distinguished delegates, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I'm honored to speak about the vital work of Working Group 2 on capacity building coordination under the Djibouti Code of Conduct and Jeddah Amendment. This working group represents a cornerstone in the collective efforts to ensure maritime security and safety in one of the world's strategically significant regions in the Western Indian Ocean, Gulf of Aden, and the Red Sea. The Djibouti Code of Conduct and its extension, the Jeddah Amendment, embody commitment of coastal and island states in the Western Indian Ocean, Gulf of Aden, and the Red Sea to the commitment to address piracy, armed robbery, and other maritime security threats. In this regard, Working Group 2, which focuses on capacity building coordination, plays a pivotal role in translating this commitment into tangible actions and results. As the chair of the working group, I would like to acknowledge the traction gained by implementing partners present today on the work accomplished by signatory states of the Jeddah Amendment to the Djibouti Code of Conduct. Accomplishments such as the development of a regional capacity building matrix by the signatory states and the linkage of support from implementing partners, whether in bilateral or collective grounds, ensures that regional needs and priorities are resolved and no country is being left behind. It's important that there is a continuous feedback on updates from member states receiving support and friends supporting the implementation of the DCoC JEDA amendment through various capacity building initiatives. This approach facilitates a coordinated approach towards capacity building and enables partners to access the necessary information, avoid duplicating efforts, and maximizing resources. It also motivates member states to continue populating the matrix as there is shared value from both parties. Currently, 6 partner entities have received access to the wealth of information posted on the platform and are urged to share their inputs with the Secretariat as success stories to the featured in the portal. Proposals have been made in combined working group meeting held in this year to establish a DCoC maritime security strategy, which will explore the importance of maritime security and outline the steps to achieve it. The strategy will leverage the existing structure of the DCoC JEDA amendment for maritime security to ensure prosperity and sustainable development. It will enhance the protection of population of the DCoC signatory states from illegal maritime activities, causes the development of capacities for maritime security governance, and ensure the support for ports and offshore installations, including enhancement of maritime domain awareness. In addition to that, this working group intends to make enhancement to the DCoC website and the members-only portal. I would like to request the International Maritime Organization to request the European Union to consider financing this under the upcoming Safe Seas for Africa project expected to commence its execution in January 2024. The IMO's role, as described by the project outline, will be to promote intra-national, intra-agency, and inter-agency coordination and cooperation. One of the outputs focuses on increasing dialogue among regional and inter-regional partners on common opportunities and challenges. An aspect that can be fulfilled with an updated website and the capacity building matrix that is hosted in the members-only portal. A communication strategy is also being envisioned as a future development needed to initiate and foster dialogue in the region. For my next point, I will reference the non-paper drafted by our host, South Africa, and which was shared to participants ahead of this meeting. It has been agreed beforehand by member states that the working group 2 structure have to be expanded to cover all areas outlined in the JEDA amendment. Subcommittees dedicated to 7 thematic areas will collaborate with the relevant agencies and partners and report their progress to the steering committee through the national single window systems. The subcommittee will cover illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, port and ship security and protection of vital coastal installations, new and emerging threats to maritime security, trafficking in arms, narcotics, and psychotropic substances, illegal trade in wildlife and other items, threats to maritime environment, and human trafficking and smuggling. Let me also take a detour to applaud the following countries for the success they are recording nationally on the thematic areas whose structure I just highlighted. Comoros, through its Coast Guard has, in 2 separate incidents, arrested and detained perpetrators caught with sea turtle meat and colacentic fish in the Comoros archipelago between March and May 2023. They also intercepted a dhow carrying voluntary exiles and a boat ferrying migrants looking to enter the island nation illegally. Perpetrators found guilty of poaching, illegal migration, and human trafficking will be brought to book under the Comorian law. Ethiopia has established a Blue Economy Forum that includes all maritime agencies, mirroring national maritime security committees being developed under the IMO maritime security governance work, and has involved a component of maritime security for its import-export facilitation. In March this year, the Royal Jordanian Navy Force conducted a search and rescue operation, rescuing 19 people from a tourist boat after its engine broke down, prompting the boat to drift on shallow waters. All rescued persons were placed in a shelter and supplied with medical attention. Kenya has adopted the multi-agency approach through the National Maritime Information Sharing Center, NMISC, that comprises of 12 government agencies. It also developed its National Maritime Risk Register and is on course to start work on the establishment of its National Maritime Security Strategy. It also coordinated 2 multi-agency fisheries enforcement offshore patrols within Kenyan territorial waters and the exclusive economic zone to deter, detect, and interdict any vessels involved in IU fishing. Early in this year, Seychelles, through a joint exercise with the US Coast Guard, intercepted fishing vessel carrying dolphin meat contrary to the law, as well as seeing a dhow in its water that was ferrying narcotics by foreign nationals. Culprits were handed over to the authorities for legal processing. 2 vessels were tracked and intercepted by the Somali Coast Guard for conducting illegal fishing activities in Somalia waters on April 16, 2023. Crew from both vessels were found culpable of the crime and were fined to the tune of US $3,096,000. South Africa will table its first draft of the amended Merchant Ship Maritime Security Regulation 2004 to relevant legal structures by March 2024. High-level consultative sessions to finalize its national maritime security strategy are also ongoing. Through the DCoC and IMO, the International Ship and Port Facility iSpace Code training was done in June 2023 in Cape Town, in this city, that means. Between March to May 2021, Captain Joshua Mbakwi Buja, sorry for the pronunciation, master of the Tanzanian flag-owned MV Sea Star 1 led an evacuation operation of 5,000 people from armed insurgents attacking Palma town, northeast coast of Mozambique. The ship docked safely in Tanzania, where the evacuees, most of whom were workers for the Palma-based Total liquefied natural gas project, safely disembarked and were attended to at the port of Pemba. As you can see, this success aligns with provisions of the Jeddah Amendment and will be shared in the DCoC website at length. It's imperative for stakeholders and partners within the region to foster practical collaboration, as it will centralize maritime security decisions using the DCoC forum. Thank you for your attention. God bless you all.
Thank you. We now move on to the report of the outcomes for Friends of the Djibouti Code of Conduct meetings. In that regard, may I request IMO representative Ms. Winnie Maina to take the floor.
Distinguished participants, all protocols observed. I wish to begin by exploring the crucial interregional and international aspect of the DCoC, known as the Friends of the Djibouti Code of Conduct. This arm of the DCoC governance framework represents a collaborative effort to enhance maritime security in one of the world's most vital and strategically significant regions, the Western Indian Ocean and the Gulf of Aden. The terms of reference for the Friends of the DCoC Jeddah Amendment define members as those organizations and/or countries committed to and capable of making a substantial contribution to the work of the DCoC-JA. In addition, and as agreed by the signatory states on granting access to the capacity building coordination matrix, the signatory states agreed to provide access to the Friends based on the following provisions. 1, countries and/or organizations supporting the implementation of the DCoC-JA through contributions to the DCoC Trust Fund. 2, countries and/or organizations involved in implementing agreed priorities of the DCoC as noted in the capacity building coordination matrix. Let me now recognize the work that has been accomplished by the collaboration between implementing partners and DCoC signatories. Over the years, contributions have been made towards the DCoC Trust Fund since the code was signed. Even though changing priorities have led to declined funding from many international partners, with some leaving the region entirely, it would be a disservice if I do not point out the successful repression of incidents of piracy and armed robbery against ships in the region by 2012. These contributions boosted the need for the counter-piracy code to evolve into the Jeddah Amendment, which provides the expanded scope of the original Code of Conduct. Through financial and technical support facilitated in the region, DCoC signatory states were able to form a governance framework and a secretariat that had seen us attend now the 6th high-level meetings funded by a multiplicity of implementing partners. This discussion forum is growing every year and will only grow in momentum in fostering regional dialogue among all stakeholders involved. A big thank you to the Friends for that. In 2023, the Friends have held 2 virtual meetings where they received updates on various developments and progress and areas where they can support and provide technical assistance. The agreed strategy and roadmap for the DCoC Information Sharing Network that requires DCoC National Maritime Information Sharing Centers to attain initial operating capability by March 2024, and the operationalization of these centers will be and is being supported by partners present here today. The Secretariat shared a status brief of current gaps and efforts, The Secretariat shared a status brief of current gaps and efforts that are currently underway to start collaborating with the national centers that have already been established, working alongside the regional centers, RMIFC, RCOC, and IFC-IOR. Those supporting already established centers are urged to share the nature of the support being provided to enable the Secretariat to track progress. There is a need to establish a link between the support provided to the capacity building coordination matrix for consistency, avoidance of duplication, and more so to encourage amplification of the effort and encouragement to the DCoC NFPs who normally continuously update their needs on the platform. We have so far seen training workshops conducted on maritime security governance, best practices on information sharing, train the trainer courses on the ISPS code and SOLAS, enhanced maritime domain awareness, enhanced civil-military cooperation, and the successful growth of the regional training coordination mechanism that has so far benefited over 2,000 students. As is advised by the capacity building matrix, work is ongoing in supporting capacity development in maritime law enforcement training for countries under Interpol and the US Coast Guard, maritime cybersecurity, the EU-funded port security project and Red Sea project, the intention to develop the regional maritime security strategy, a communication strategy, and the enhancement of the DCoC website and members-only portal, as has just been highlighted by Working Group 2 on capacity building, have been shared with the Friends for consideration. As the Secretariat, we are impressed by the work the Friends have undertaken in terms of their support in ensuring and assisting with the workshop that was held in the development of the SOPs, and this work will be deliberated further in the agenda. We applaud the Friends for the support. In addition, and as I conclude, the recent establishment of Yemen's regional maritime information sharing from Sana'a to Aden, with the support of UNDP Yemen, Crimario 2, and IMO, and among others, further pledged support from other partners, is a testament of the commitment of the Friends of DCoC towards the implementation of the revised code. These initiatives, among many others, add encouragement to the signatory states of the Western Indian Ocean and Gulf of Aden that the Friends are walking a journey with them and will continue to provide support based on the regional needs in an effort to spur growth and ensure a safer, more secure, and prosperous maritime sector for all. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Distinguished delegates, we have taken and received all the reports on the work already done, and I think that forms a good basis for the deliberations going forward. May I now suggest that we stand down for lunch, and this will allow us to take the panel discussions, which I think structurally is the next part of the meeting that we're having. It is now 1:10, 13:10. May I request that you are back seated and ready to start at 14:10. We shall have arranged the setting for the panel discussion. Thank you very much.